Learn English through stories. Intermediate English. The life and philosophy of Socrates. How one man's questions changed the world. What if the wisest man in history said he knew nothing, and that made him truly wise? I cannot teach anybody anything. I can only make them think. Socrates. This story will challenge how you see truth, knowledge, and your own beliefs. Stay to the end to discover the choice that made him a legend. Don't just learn English, live it through stories. A great thinker. Meet Socrates, a famous philosopher from ancient Athens who lived long ago. He never wrote any books. We know about his ideas from his students, especially Plato and Xenophon, who wrote about his teachings and life. Socrates taught a new way to think about life, truth, and knowledge. His work is still very important today, thousands of years after his death. Humble beginnings. Socrates was born around 470 BC. His family was not noble. His father was a stoneworker and his mother was a midwife. They were not wealthy, but they had enough money to give him a good education. Like other boys in Athens, he learned music, poetry, and gymnastics as part of basic training. These studies helped him develop both his mind and body. An unusual man. Socrates was known for his simple life and unusual appearance. People said he was not handsome, with a flat nose and big eyes. He did not care about owning nice things or wearing fancy clothes. He often walked barefoot through the city in the same plain coat, focused more on his thoughts than his looks. A brave soldier. Before becoming a famous philosopher, Socrates served his city, Athens, as a brave soldier in the Peloponnesian War. He fought in important battles such as Potidaea and Delium. Other soldiers admired his great courage and his ability to endure difficult conditions like extreme cold or hunger without ever complaining. The city is his school. Socrates did not have a normal school with classrooms. His school was the entire city of Athens, especially the busy marketplace called the Agora. He would spend his days there talking with everyone he met, from powerful politicians to young students. He did not lecture. Instead, he asked them important questions. The Socratic method. Socrates used a special technique of asking questions, which we now call the Socratic method. He did not give people the answers. Instead, he asked a series of questions that helped them find contradictions in their own beliefs. This process helped people to think more clearly and discover the truth for themselves. Always asking why. Socrates challenged everyone to think more deeply about their own ideas. If someone said, "I know what justice is," Socrates would ask a series of questions to show them that the idea was more complicated than they thought. He encouraged people to question everything they believed about life, goodness, and truth, so they could discover deeper meaning instead of simply accepting tradition. I know nothing. One of Socrates' most famous sayings is, "I know that I know nothing." He said this to show that true wisdom begins when you admit that you don't have all the answers. He believed that understanding your own ignorance is the first and most important step on the path to gaining real knowledge. The unexamined life. The unexamined life is not worth living, Socrates often said. He believed that every person must constantly think about their actions, their beliefs, and their purpose. He taught that a good and happy life comes from knowing yourself and always trying to become a better person through deep reflection. Virtue and knowledge. Socrates believed that virtue is a kind of knowledge. He argued that people do not choose to do bad things on purpose. Instead, They do wrong because they do not truly understand what is good. If a person gains real knowledge of what is right and just, they will naturally choose to act in a virtuous and moral way. Making powerful enemies. Not everyone in Athens liked Socrates' method of questioning. His questions often embarrassed powerful leaders by showing that they were not as wise as they claimed to be. After Athens lost a long war, many people in the city were afraid and looking for someone to blame. Some politicians believed Socrates was a danger to their power and to traditional beliefs. The official charges. When Socrates was 70 years old, his enemies officially charged him with crimes against the city. They made two accusations. First, they said he did not respect the gods of Athens. Second, they claimed he was corrupting the young men of the city by teaching them to question authority. These charges came at a time of political fear and change in Athens. The trial of Socrates. The trial was held before a large jury of 500 Athenian citizens. Socrates was not afraid and chose to defend himself instead of hiring a speaker. He explained that he was not a paid teacher but a philosopher. He argued that his goal was not to cause trouble, but to help people find wisdom. A gadfly for Athens. In his speech, Socrates compared himself to a gadfly, an insect that wakes up a sleeping horse by stinging it. He said Athens was the lazy horse, and he was the gadfly sent by the gods to keep the city awake and thinking. He argued that his constant questioning was a service to Athens and helped keep the city strong and wise. The guilty verdict. Despite his powerful defense, the jury voted and found Socrates guilty. The vote was very close. After the verdict, his accusers demanded the death penalty. Socrates was then given a chance to propose his own punishment. He could have suggested exile, which would have saved his life. An ironic punishment. Instead of asking for mercy, Socrates used irony. He said that since his crime was helping Athens, his punishment should be a reward. He proposed that the city give him free meals for life, an honor reserved for heroes. This suggestion made the jury angry and showed he was not afraid. Sentenced to death. The jury was offended by Socrates' proposal. They voted a second time, and a much larger majority chose the death penalty. Socrates was sentenced to die by drinking a poison made from a plant called hemlock. He accepted his fate calmly, telling the jury that a good man should not fear death. An escape plan. Socrates was kept in a prison while waiting for his execution. His wealthy friends, like Crito, came to visit him. They told him they had a plan to help him escape. They had already bribed the prison guards and arranged for a boat to take him to another city where he could live in safety. A principled refusal. Socrates refused to escape from prison. He explained to his friend Crito that he had lived under the laws of Athens his whole life and had accepted their protection. If he escaped, he would be breaking his agreement with the city and harming the laws he had always respected. He believed it was wrong to save his life by breaking his principles. The laws must be obeyed. Socrates explained that a city cannot survive if its citizens choose to obey only the laws they like and ignore the rest. He believed that respecting the law, even when the law is unfair, is necessary to protect order and justice in society. He chose to accept the court's decision to show his commitment to the rule of law. The final conversation. On his last day, Socrates was surrounded by his sad followers. He was not afraid. He spent his final hours doing what he had always done, having a philosophical conversation. He spoke with his friends about the soul, arguing that it was immortal and would live on after his body died. The cup of hemlock. As the sun set, the jailer came with the cup of poison. The jailer was crying because he had grown to respect Socrates. Socrates comforted him and took the cup without any fear. He said a quiet prayer and then calmly drank the hemlock as his friends watched in sorrow. The last words. Socrates told his weeping friends to be brave. He walked around the cell until his legs became numb from the poison. Then he lay down. His last words were a strange request to his friend Crito. "Crito, we owe a rooster to Asclepius. Please, don't forget to pay the debt." Asclepius was the god of healing, and some believe Socrates meant that death was a kind of healing or freedom for the soul. Martyr for philosophy. Socrates died, but his ideas and his story lived on. His calm acceptance of death showed his total commitment to truth and philosophy. Many people see him as a martyr, a person who dies for their beliefs. His life continues to inspire people around the world to seek wisdom, question the world, and live with integrity and purpose. What about you? Socrates taught that questioning yourself is the beginning of wisdom. What belief, habit, or idea in your life deserves deeper reflection today? What truth are you now seeking? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We would love to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more fun English lessons.